So I just got done finishing the main story for Subnautica 2, and I'm very happy to say that as of now, it is very promising. This video is going to be a review on the game so far, and basically say if it's worth your money or not. I want to preface this by saying that this is early access, like literally the very first week of early access, so a lot of what I'm saying probably isn't going to be true later on, so keep that in mind for this. Subnautica 2 has very big shoes to fill, coming off of Below Zero, which me, along with many other people, think that it wasn't the best. Like, it wasn't a bad game, but also wasn't good. It wasn't nearly as good as the first game, that's for sure. So this game really needed to improve on the previous entry in the series. And already, even in early access, in many ways, it already does do stuff better than Below Zero. By the way, I want to mention that this will contain minor spoilers in terms of like what's to come, the little bits of story here and there. So if you do want to go in completely blind, I suggest you click off and just get it yourself. But if you don't really care about spoilers, then yeah, this video is for you. I mean, it's early access, so there's not much to spoil anyway. Subnautica 2 perfectly nails the balance with familiarity with the first games in the series, but also feeling completely new. After all, this is a completely different planet, so... But Below Zero had the problem that, because it was on the same planet as the first game, it had mostly the same stuff, same animals, same plant life, same biomes, kind of. There were new stuff though, so it wasn't entirely the same. But pretty much everything in this game is new, at least visually. There's of course going to be some similarities with, I mean, obviously the game's going to start you off in the safe shallows, so the terrain might look a bit similar, but all the animals are new, all the fish are completely new. Instead of bladderfish for water, we have water slugs, which I'm going to say are way better than a bladderfish, because not only are these immobile and stick to the ground, but they give you 40 water back instead of just 20 like in the first game. Now I will say, I was a bit lost on where to find certain materials at the start of the game, but I soon realised that that's an inevitability when playing a brand new game, especially one that just released in early access, so literally no one knows where anything is. Although, to be fair, some of the sources for certain materials are a bit unclear. Like, how was I supposed to know that you get fibrous pulp from cutting the Lucifer rotsack things? Like, they look nothing alike. Like, in the first game, you knew creepvine samples came from the big creepvines because they look similar and they have the same name, but I mean they're not at all alike. Now, one thing this game does that is completely brand new to this series are upgrades. There are various bases from, I guess, like the previous expedition to this planet that you can find, and in them are these little bio beds that you can interact with that increase your inventory space or increase your hotbar slots. There are also these big purple flowers which give you upgrades like being able to withstand high heat so you can go into the lava zone, or being able to actually digest food so you can eat the animals, although that is like the first upgrade you get. There are also biomods, which are essentially like perks that you can equip that have various effects, some active, some passive. And I didn't actually realise this until beating the main story, but you can unlock new biomods by scanning or using the bioscanner on different animals. The bioscanner being an upgraded version of the scanner you get later on in the story. It creates this very cool risk-reward system because you get good effects from scanning the more dangerous bigger animals, and there are bigger animals. The big bad Leviathan for this game, for now, is called the Collector. And bro, the amount of fear when I first encountered this thing... What the fuck is that?! If the developers ever see this, which they definitely won't, but in case they do, devs, please remove that like boss music that plays when the Collector spots you, because that completely removes all the tension from it. One really cool thing about the Collector is that if you do successfully manage to scan it with your bioscanner, you can use a biomod slot to use the sonar ability which marks useful resources for you, which is absolutely incredible. I love that. High risk, high reward. I love it. Base building is also significantly improved from the first couple games. You can now kind of offset rooms slightly but still have them connected. Now, one of the best improvements to base building is actually being able to incrementally extend rooms. So instead of having to build a whole new room and connect that to your existing room, you can just ever so slightly extend it further and only use a bit of titanium instead of the full 5 to build one room. On top of this, you can also incrementally shrink the rooms and get back a bit of titanium. So you can build a room and then shrink it to however small you like, which means that you can make some pretty funny builds, including stuff like average apartment in London. The scanner station is a nice little contraption. Like, you can select a specific material to track, and then you can select the location and it shows up on the HUD. Although I'm not sure if this is a bug or not, but sometimes when you select an item, it shows a material that isn't actually there in the world. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a bug or not, or if it's like an intended thing, like an approximation of the area that it's in, but yeah, I mean, this game's version of the sea moth is the tadpole, and so far it's significantly better than the fucking sea truck in Below Zero, which completely trivialized everything about the game. That was actually one of the reasons why I think it wasn't that good. But the cool thing about this thing is that it has two chassis, one of which allows it to be fast and nimble, and the other, the hauler chassis, allows it to have two storage modules on the side of it, so you can transport materials in case you have a full inventory or something, but also slowing you down a lot. There is no big submarine yet, like the Cyclops in the first game, but I'm sure that is subject to change. They will add that at some point. But for now, the tadpole is the only vehicle we got, and it's pretty good. There are also these little current things which you can use to boost your swim speed, but also put these little turbines in which can generate power for your bases. Obviously the solar panels, thermal plants and bioreactors are all still there. There are some upgrades you can get for it, like an engine efficiency module which you can actually stack up to 4 times, but you probably shouldn't because you also need a depth module. There's also stuff like a module that increases its protection so it takes less damage, as well as one that allows it to recharge via solar power for when you're swimming through shallow water. The biomes so far are very interesting. Obviously the map is still very small because it's early access, but there's plenty of variety here even now. You got obviously the safe shallows, you got this lava zone which is, I was really surprised to find it right next to the starting area, but you also got this area with like leafy kind of stuff, but then when you venture to the latter half of the story you get these deep fucking dark places that are just absolutely terrifying. Now, this game plays with a fear that wasn't really seen in the past 2 entries that much, and that's megalophobia. When you get to like the second half of the story, cross that big fucking nothingness area with the Collector Leviathan, you get to this area full of alien ruins, and there are these just giant structures that, when I first saw it, like, it was really unnerving. The first game obviously had the Aurora, but there's something about these just huge things being underwater that's just, oh man, it creeps me out. The way that the water's all murky, and then you go through, and then all of a sudden you just see them. It is so well done. I'm not going to talk much about the story, mainly because there isn't really much story to talk about at all. It's mostly just a bunch of yappings from different people from like the previous expedition or something, from the different terminals that you can find. Although I will say, turning on that giant turbine was absolutely amazing.
Detecting activity in the observatory nearby. Entering the structure will give you a strong salvage claim.
This game perfectly recaptures that sense of fear from the first game, way more than Below Zero. Your character never speaks, he never has any dialogue, which makes you feel completely alone, just like the first game. However, this game has something that the others don't, and that's multiplayer. This game being co-op with your friends just amplifies how good this game is already by like tenfold. This is the perfect game to play with friends. And all of this is why I'm very happy to say that Subnautica 2 definitely is worth the money right now. And it is only going to get better. I absolutely can't wait for more content to be added into this. I can't wait for the big submarine or whatever the new equivalent for the prawn suit is going to be, if there is one. If you have £26 willing to be spent, get it on this and enjoy it with your friends. That's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.